Hi, today at Entrepreneur, we have with us Mr. Vivek Oberoi, actor and entrepreneur. Vivek, thank you so much for talking to us.
My pleasure,
today.
Punita.
So, Vivek, we have seen you foraying into different businesses apart from the acting work which you do. So, tell me, what was it about Solitario which inspired you to join hands with them?
I think there's only three things I look at. The first thing I look at is whether a business, a space, goes beyond the profit and fits into my purpose. Does it fit into my value system? Solitario seamlessly integrates there because I've always loved jewelry, I've loved bling, I've loved diamonds, but I've always held back because fruit of exploitation, behind the sparkle of these diamonds are there, tears of helpless African children. So that whole negativity and that whole bad karma story just kept me away. Here was a great solution to that. Here was a great solution to be able to enjoy, something that's beautiful, high quality, smartly priced, but at the same time, very positive in its process, right? Not depending on harming the earth or harming child labor and exploiting people in Africa. So I liked that shift. That was the first element. The second element was, I looked at the business itself and I said, how many people like me? How many people are trying to go organic, live healthier? How many people are trying to transition to better planet, better future for all of us? How many of those are underserved? And when I looked at the total, addressable market, I realized that natural diamonds were addressing a very small window of people. So there was the democratization of diamonds happening through lab grown. And I realized that this is the future because now you're going to expand the baseline. You're going to make the bottom of the pyramid wider. Yeah. So I realized that this is a great business to be in from that perspective. And the third thing was, who's going to drive this car? Who's going to take us to the finish line in this race? And that was Ricky Basandani. And I met him. I was super impressed. I thought he was very mentorable. I thought he was somebody I could guide correctly and help build value. He works hard, is committed, is a diligent guy, built a good team, is transparent and committed in his ways and honest. Those are the integrity that a founder brings is what I value most. So this troika, this combination of all these three elements, when it came together, I felt very, very happy about associating with Solitario. I did take my time. He was chasing me for about 6 months.
So what was it with Solitario which taught you, which acting did not?
I don't know if it's Solitario individually, but I think business. There's a lot that I do in business that I've learned because of acting, and there's a lot that businesses taught me that acting never did. I think with acting, as an artist, you're always a secondary mover. Right? The primary mover is always the director, right? Somebody who's writing, creating, directing, and telling you how they want you to fit into that scene. Either the scene is the box in which it's been defined, or the director is tweaking the nuance of the performance in the larger arc of the film. Business is potential where you are allowed to create your own parameter and be the primary mover. And I think that's the major differentiator, right? We decided that if the whole world is looking at lab grown as cheaper option, we don't want to go into that. We want to, within lab grown, also go in for the highest quality of input, the highest cut, color, clarity, and bring in only the top end of raw. Then cut it with the best cutters who would cut natural. Spend more, that's okay. Design it with the best designs possible. So we build design houses globally. So Miami, Barcelona, India, we've got design houses globally and inputs coming in from design houses everywhere, which are 100% only committed to Solitario's growth. So we've worked on that element to create a pipeline of such global, international appealing design, but then to work on even the finishing. So somebody who is finishing for an international brand will charge you more money and say, I'm getting paid in dollars. I don't care if you're paying me in rupees. I'm going to charge this much. So those elements we had to build along the way to build the value. And then to say, okay, we're not competing on a price. We are going to create a differentiator purely on quality and product and design. And that's what's happened with Solitario. That's why the growth, where week on week, month on month, new stores are opening, capacity, distribution has been growing. We're in just less than 3 years, we're in 9 countries, 25 cities with 100 plus points of sale already active. And these will double by next year. right?
Okay.
So that kind of growth happens only when the product is solid.
Sure. So in 3 years, you have grown rapidly at such a speed. So how sustainable is this growth for you?
The growth has to be made sustainable, right? It's not like praying for rain. So you don't just sit down and say, I hope it's sustainable. You have to build it. And that's what I do. I create the vision. I create and plot a map towards what we have to achieve from a unit level economics all the way to a macro level, keeping in mind the best case and worst case scenarios and what are the global economic indicators which show trends, right? So trends towards luxury, trends towards expendable income. When we see all of those trends and we see them in the short term and long term, right? So we see what's happening in the quarter, what's happening in this year, what's going to happen in the next 5. We try to plot accordingly and build.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of do at the helm at Solitario. Along with Ricky, we sit down, brainstorm. We had a brainstorming session today, for example.
Okay.
You know, what are the areas we want to diversify in? What are the geographies we want to diversify in? How can we create each store to have the most number of SKUs compared to any other brand? So when you walk into a Solitario store, you're starting at a benchmark of more than 500 SKUs. Even in a smaller store, this is still a large, substantial store, but even in a smaller store, you have between 500 to 800 SKUs. So when you come in, you have those options. And then with Vermeil, what we're doing, where you're getting a IGI certified, Vermeil Gold certificate and product, your access and your entry point starts to come in below 10,000 rupees.
Okay.
That used to be traditionally what people went to buy silver for.
Yes.
Right? So you go in with Vermeil with 10,000 and below, and then you build out. So if you want to buy something from 9,000 rupees or 90 lakh rupees, they're all available at Solitario. And that's the range expansion.
Okay. Tell me, we recently saw the pre-IPO funding happening at Solitario. So was there a pitch in which you were also involved?
No, I wasn't involved. I think it was Ricky who went in for the pre-IPO. It was an interesting experience for him. He called me up for a little bit of advice and coaching on how to handle it. But look, the company is organically profitable. I have created a clutter breaker in terms of a thought process. Whether it's a franchisee, whether it's an investor, whether it's an individual client, a customer. Everybody needs to benefit. There needs to be value creation for all. That doesn't come with burning. I've built companies, I've burnt money to build those companies. I've gone back to investors and said, we've run out of runway. Look, we've created so much value, but that value is notional till you break even and you create critical mass. With Solitario, I decided I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on this burn treadmill where you keep running and keep chasing money, more money, more money. Let's build value at the unit economic level. And that's what the differentiator is, which is why now I'm able to jump in terms of valuation. I have a feeling that in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll quadruple value from here. And I can see that because I'm seeing the larger vision and plan.
Okay. And lastly, one myth which you could burst for celebrity brands.
I think the big myth is that just because you associate with a celebrity, it's going to be a success story. It's not. Unless celebrities get involved, understand quality. Like, for example, if I'm associated with a brand, I, of course, don't do just the brand ambassador story. I actually invest capital. But for me, I would go physically when I'm traveling. If I know, like, I have stores at all the airports. So whenever I'm traveling, I'll go and I'll see. I'll talk to people and I'll say, okay, what's the product doing like? What do you think of this? I'll see the way it's packaged. I'll see the way it's positioned on the retail shelf. I'll stand and watch what customers are talking and engaging with the product. I'll take that real ground feedback and not just wait for data stats. And then I'll call the founder on the spot and say, listen, this is what my feedback was. This is what we need to correct. And there's a lot of course correction that comes from things like that. So that degree of involvement I've seen with certain celebrities. And that's, Gal Gadot, right? She did the pasta company. Her degree of involvement is crazy. Ryan Reynolds with Aviation Gin. His degree of involvement is really, really incredible. So that's what creates value. You can't just sign a celebrity and say, the celebrity is associated and that's what should create.
Okay, so on that note, we conclude it. Thank you.
Cheers.